Hello everyone, welcome to Armchair Armory. I didn't think I'd be doing one of these videos straight away as quickly as I have done, because I thought I'd be more well established before I started doing this, seeing how we go with YouTube and seeing how it goes, seeing where I get to in maybe a year, 6 months to a year, and then I'd start branching out into more news stories and things like that involving football and all the other things that I'm interested in. But with this news that's broken in the last 24 hours, and it's been, rife through social media and the mainstream media and football influencers on social media and YouTube today, and I thought that I have to say something, because I've been an Arsenal fan since 1997. So I was 9, possibly 10, when I became an Arsenal fan. And I've never been, and I'll be honest, this is why this section of my channel is called Armchair Armory, because I've always been an armchair fan. I've always been someone that's watched football on TV. I've always been someone that's watched football on TV. I've not never been to any games, but I've not been to many games. I'm one of those fans that could never afford it. I did go to a few games at the Emirates when we moved, but yeah, I've never been a season ticket holder. I've never held a red membership for more than a year at most. I think the penultimate season before Wenger left was the season that I've been to the most games. But this European Super League news has shocked me to my core. I can't believe that these 12 clubs, 6 of which are Premier League clubs, think that this is a good idea to set up their own elite. I say elite, and it's laughable thinking that, from an Arsenal perspective, it's laughable thinking that somehow Arsenal, the teams that, let's go through the teams that are in it. So the teams that have joined the Super League are Arsenal, obviously, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur. From Spain, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and from Italy, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus. And there's news that there'll be potentially three more clubs being added to this. Now, I've been hearing about this European Super League for a long time. I think Arsene Wenger mentioned it a few years ago. People have been talking about it left, right, and centre. It comes up a lot on beIN Sports in the Middle East. Like Richard Keys and Andy Gray talk about it a lot and say that, it comes up in question and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people have said it will never happen, etc., etc., etc. There was a thing last year with Project Big Picture, which Liverpool and Manchester United were involved in, and they came out and said, we want to do this, and they received so much backlash that they turned their back on it. Now this looks like it's serious. So essentially what they're planning to do is they're planning to put these 12 clubs, or 15 clubs if you include the 3 that haven't been named yet, into a league of its own, where everyone plays each other twice, and there's a kind of like knockout stage towards the end. And essentially what it's become, or what they're saying it's going to become, is similar to the American style of sport, where you have, let's take the NBA, for example. You have the same teams in the association. So the National Basketball Association, you have those same teams. I don't know how many there are off the top of my head. They play each other twice in in two groups, because that's what it's going to be. That's what they're proposing for this as well. They have two groups, so they have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and everyone plays each other, I think, twice in one conference, and one plays in the other, and then they meet. And then whoever win, and then they go to the playoffs, and then they meet each other in a playoff final, which is known as the NBA Finals. This is basically franchise sport, and this is what they want to go. This is what they want to move to for football, and I think it's disgraceful. I can categorically say I'm dead against this idea, because one of the things that is amazing, and one of the things that brought me to football, not even to talk of Arsenal, because I didn't become an Arsenal supporter until I was 9 or 10. I didn't become an Arsenal supporter. But from a very, very young age, I'd probably say maybe 6 or 7, probably shortly after I became a wrestling fan, I became a football fan. Euro 96. Euro 96 was where I first became a football fan. So yeah, that was after I was a wrestling fan. So I must have been about 8 when I started following football. And that is where, yeah, that's where I started. That's where I started to love football, particularly seeing players like Paul Gascoigne and Alan Shearer and Ian Wright and people like that. And one of the things that's amazing about football is the competition. The fact that there is jeopardy there, as I've heard a lot of people saying today. The excitement about, competing and putting in good performances and going out there and qualifying for the Champions League or qualifying for the Europa League or the UEFA Cup, as it was called when I was a kid. Or on the other end of the table, who's going to get relegated, who's going to get promoted. But in this model that these people, this consortium are putting together, there's no competition. Basically, they'll be there every single season. No matter what happens, they'll be there every single season. And then this creates a knock-on effect. This creates a knock-on effect for the teams that are left in the Premier League, because there's talk to say that the Premier League, they can't leave, they can't do this whilst being in the Premier League. And let's say, for example, the Premier League don't bend over backwards and allow and come to a compromise, and they do get chucked out. Then, but even if they stay in the Premier League, I think I saw Charles Watts say, and I completely agree with him, like, Arsenal could lose 3 games in the first week of the new season, and it wouldn't matter, because they'd be in a European competition, a so-called elite European competition anyway. It just takes away the kind of magic of football, basically, and that's. I don't get angry often about things, but this really irked me, because I love football. I've loved football, as I said, since I was 8 years old. I've loved football. I've loved Arsenal since I was 10, at the maximum, and I can't believe that, like, this is what it's come to. And all it comes down to really is money. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to greed. It comes down to a select few clubs wanting to keep the money within themselves, wanting to keep that circle going. It's crazy. It's actually mad that, like, this is what we've come to. I just hope it doesn't go ahead. I really do. I really hope it doesn't go ahead. And this is the thing, it's just an absolute joke. From an Arsenal perspective, that we're considered to be one of the big 6. We haven't been one of the big 6 since 2007. Maybe even 2004. From the moment that we started dropping out of the title race, that was when we became... That's when we started falling out of the so-called top 6. Tottenham, who haven't won a league since 1961, who haven't won a trophy since 2011. Well, yeah, fair enough. They could win a trophy next weekend, but or whenever it is they're playing Man City in the League Cup. But still, they're not a top six club, really. They've only really been a top six club in the last 6-7 years, more than anything. It's just crazy, and that's the thing. Like, it just vindicates me in believing that Stan Kroenke and Kroenke Sports Entertainment, or whatever they're called, the sports group, this is what they wanted. They don't like the competition. They don't like the fact that fans are angry about the fact that we don't compete and all this kind of stuff. So it was like, well, you could. It's almost as if they're going, well, yeah, we'll be in the European Super League every season, so you don't need to complain anymore. You can go away. It just proves that, like, these guys, like the Glazers at Man United, the Fenway Group at Liverpool, you know, Chelsea, who have American influence, Tottenham, who have American influence, like, they don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a shit about the competition. All they care about is the revenue. It's crazy. I saw people made points about player wages and all this kind of stuff. Maybe that's true, I don't know. But for me, like, it's just the moral aspect. I don't have a problem with football, people in football making money. I've contributed to that. I've brought Arsenal kits. I've paid for Red membership. I've paid to go into grounds. I've paid for food at the Emirates. I've and all that kind of stuff. But when you're trying to monopolize that and be like, okay, we're separate from you, that's where I have a problem. And this is one of the problems with society in general. There's less focus on this for some reason. There is a divide between rich and poor. And that is the class, and the amount of money you have is one of the main divides in this country, if not the only divide. And this is capitalism at its worst, if I'm honest. Because what this will also do, especially in this country, is the UK, it will affect the grassroots level. It will affect League 1 and 2. It will affect the Championship. Because they need the Premier League for the money to filter down to them. But no, that's the thing. The funny thing as well is that I've heard that Jurgen Klopp, that's the only ones I've heard of, and it was kind of alluded to in the Burnley game with Man United yesterday, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta didn't even know anything about this. And this is what I'm saying. The owners have just made these decisions. They've just gone, yeah, we need to do this because we're a commodity. We need to make sure. Oh, I don't know. It's crazy. It's actually mad. This is almost like the death of football as we know it. Maybe we're overreacting. I don't know. Because I feel as if, even though I'm angry right now, I feel all the fans that are complaining on social media, we won't be able to turn away from our clubs. I know I won't. I know even if this Super League does go ahead, I will watch Arsenal play Real Madrid or whatever. We probably won't get anywhere in it. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's taking out the competition, because we'll probably be, us and Tottenham, most likely, will probably be the bottom of the league. But it doesn't matter. We'll still be there. We'll still be there next season. It's crazy. That's the thing. I don't even know what to think anymore. It's basically confirmed all my fears. That it's just because they've sucked the soul out of the game, basically. I'm going to watch Liverpool against Leeds tonight to see what happens at Ellen Road, and I'm going to be very interested to see Neville and Carragher's response to it. I'm going to be very interested to see Jurgen Klopp's and Marcelo Bielsa's reaction to it, the players' reaction to it. Like, I think the only player that's come out so far to say anything from the Premier League is Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United. And even then, it was kind of cryptic. And this is the thing, this is the other thing as well. Like, will the players actually stand and say, no, we don't want to do this? Because I feel like the clubs will go, well, we pay your wages, so you are going to do it. But maybe the incentive of UEFA coming out and saying, if you do compete in this Super League, we will ban you from competing in the World Cup or in in the Euros. Maybe that's the incentive that they need, but it can't happen. It really can't, because it's just, and that's the other thing, from an aesthetic point of view, it's going to be boring. It's going to be absolutely boring. Like, that's the one thing that's amazing. Again, that's amazing about the Champions League and the Europa League. As much as we shit on the Europa League and say that it's a, B-Tech Champions League and all this kind of stuff, that's the excitement. That when these draws happen, when these knockout rounds happen, it's the one time in the year that you'll see Manchester City play Bayern Munich or something like that. Like, but if we're seeing it every single season, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, it's just going to get boring. It's going to be exactly like it, but in a different way. This stupid Nations League that's come out. Like, I'm completely against the Nations League, because I know what they were trying to do. It's like, oh, we'll put in a new international tournament that they've got something to play for, so people are more interested. That it's a tournament that someone can win instead of just an international friendly. But I just see it as a hindrance. I see it as a problem that's going to make players get injured. I see it as, a nothing trophy. If England won the Nations League, I wouldn't really care that much. Like, they got to the final of it and got battered by Belgium. But yeah, and this is the problem. This is the same thing that would happen with this European Super League. There'd be more injuries, which would then affect the Premier League and make it more boring, because managers would have to play second string teams in like big games like Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, or something like that. It's just crazy. And I can't believe that they're still trying to go ahead with it. There's like loads of people from the clubs that have left the European Committee. I don't know the name of it, but the organisation, they've left as well. They've resigned from their posts and stuff like that. And it just makes me think that there's no hope here. The only thing that can happen, the only way that this stops, in my opinion, because that's the thing, fans can have protests, but these rich people, they don't care. Kroenke's been protested at for years at Arsenal, and he's still there. The only way that this ends, and I agree with Tom Canton from Gooner Talk who said this, is if the players decide they're not going to play. But then again, will that work? Because then the clubs might just go, yeah, we'll sell you then. If you're not going to play in this, we'll sell you. I don't know. It's just crazy. I really, really hope that this doesn't happen. I really, really do. Because, it's just going to put everyone off football. It's not going to be the same. It is basically going to be like the Nations League from an aesthetic point of view. But like I said, the moral high point, the moral part is what I have the most. Moral and aesthetics is what I have the problem with. The moral is the fact that, they're keeping the money within themselves, and the arrogance and the kind of like lack of knowledge, the ignorance over what they think football should be, and not understanding the game is what annoys me the most. But then on top of that, I know it's going to be boring. I know that like it's just going to take the energy out of football, exactly the same way that the Nations League has for international football. It's made it worse. We thought it was bad with qualifiers, and qualifiers are necessary to some extent, but like with international friendlies, but adding this, I think, makes international football so much worse. Oh God. But yeah, I apologise for the unfiltered rant. I'm not going to do very much editing to this because I feel like I'm just speaking from the heart right now. And yeah, I just had to get this off my chest because I've been thinking about it since last night, watching everyone's reaction and stuff like that. And yeah, I had to say something. Not like anyone's going to see this anyway. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I mean, I was going to say, look out for the preview for the Everton game. But is there any point in doing that if the Super League is going to come in? Is a game like Arsenal Everton? Is there any point to it? The Villarreal tie that's coming up in the Europa League, is there any point to it? Because if the Super League happens, we won't need to bother about whether we lose in the Europa League or not, because we're going to be in European competition anyway. It just defeats the purpose of football. Just defeats the purpose. That's the thing. Like, the American sports can do their own thing. Like, there's entertainment in the American sports, but it doesn't work here. They're getting rid of the pyramid scheme. They're shaking the apple cart, so to speak, toppling the apple cart, affecting the pyramid system with the grassroots and all that kind of stuff and the lower leagues. And then I agree with Gary Neville that the fact that they did it when we're still in a pandemic, after, you know, lower league clubs are furloughing players, furloughing staff, and almost going out of business and all this kind of stuff. And they come out and say that. And then Arsenal, who made 55 people redundant, but yet are willing to take I don't know, however much any £1 million to be in this. In some ways, they kind of need to be in it, because Stan Kroenke has overseen this decline, and this is like, oh well, you guys can shut up now because we're in the European Super League. Get out of our club. And I don't normally say things like that, but Stan Kroenke and KSE, get the fuck out of our club. In fact, there's probably no point in me even saying that, because it's over. If this goes ahead, it's over. We're done. Anyway, I will do a preview for Everton this week. Hopefully try and get it out by Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of my evening, the rest of my week. And I hope you can too. Anyway, take care. Stay safe. This is Deepai signing out. Thanks for listening.